Howdy folks, I hope everyone is doing well today. Welcome to installment number 3 of Debunking Flat Earth. This one is going to cover a couple of different things. I'll just let you know as I come across them. First, I don't know how many times I have seen a flat earther in that condescending tone say, water doesn't stick to a ball, there's no such thing as this magical force called gravity. Alright, well, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, if there's no such thing as gravity, what holds you to the ground? Well, a lot of flat earthers like to respond to that by saying mass and density and stuff like that. Well, without gravity, we would have no way to measure mass, because mass is defined by weight or expressed by weight. You know, for example, I weigh about 225 pounds. I don't know what that calculates to mass-wise, you know, in any other formats. But I do know that I don't float very well in water. It's because my skeletal system and muscles are pretty tightly packed. So the only kind of floating I do when I go swimming, unless I'm actively moving through the water, causing myself to plane out, the only floating I do is called the dead man's float. And if you're familiar with that, it's when you start out on your back and you flip over and your legs and your feet hang down and your face down in the water. Obviously I've not drowned since then, but so if gravity is this magical force that doesn't really exist, and we are held to the ground by the earth continually accelerating upwards, then there has to be something accelerating the earth upwards. But if the earth is sitting on pillars and does not move, how is it accelerating upwards to keep us held firmly to the ground? Alright, and then the next question I have for you is, the firmament is roughly 3,100 miles up, to the inside of the firmament, the glass, ice, dome, whatever y'all claim it's made out of. If it's 3,100 miles up to that, and there's no such thing as gravity, and the earth is continually accelerating upwards, even though it's resting on pillars and has foundations and doesn't move, the sun and the moon are 3,000 miles off the ground. What holds them up? If the earth is continually accelerating upwards. Is the sun and the moon continually accelerating upwards as well? If so, what kind of propulsion causes them to continually accelerate? At what point do we accelerate past a speed that is impossible to achieve? It would take literally an infinite amount of energy to continue the earth accelerating in an upwards motion to keep us stuck to the ground. There's just logical fallacy after logical fallacy here. It just, doesn't make sense in any kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. But if you're one of those flat earthers that says gravity is real, same question. What holds the sun and the moon up? they either have to be accelerating upwards with the flat Earth, or if the Earth doesn't move and their gravity really does exist, it's not some magical, unseeable, unknowable force, then how does the sun and the moon overcome that gravity to stay where they are? Because even at the sizes that y'all claim that they are, you know, I think there's some claims that they're 60 some miles, and there's some claims that they're 160 some miles. You know, I don't know what y'all's dimensions are, but there would have to be, even if they were only an inch or so thick, you know, at 60 some miles, that's a whole lot of mass up there. So what holds it up? You know, that is, if they're flat and not spherical shaped, or not half a sphere, what holds them up? You know. But as far as gravity being some kind of magical, unseen, unknowable force, I've got a question for you. And I brought another prop with me. My last video didn't have any props. It was kind of rough a little bit. What is that? What is that right there? It's some magical, invisible force holding that thing. I mean, because it's not sticky. There's nothing sticky on it. You know, it won't stay stuck there. But and I hope that y'all heard that. Here, let me move a little closer so y'all can see. There's nothing sticky. It's just a ceramic magnet is all it is. It's actually one that I set up as a magnetic GoPro mount base before I discovered that you could buy them. So, all right, now listen. So, how's that for a magical, unseen force? You know, if there's no such thing as gravity, then there can't be any such thing as magnetism. And I understand that gravity and magnetism are separate things, unless you would say that there's no such thing as gravity, but there's magnetism, and it's magnetism that holds us to the ground. In which case I would ask you, okay, fine. Then why doesn't that magnet stick to my hand? You know, if it's magnetism that holds us to the ground, or electromagnetism, as I have heard some people say. But to continue talking about invisible forces, we'll let that hang right there just as an example of another invisible magical force. But speaking of invisible forces, what is electricity? Do any of you know what electricity is? I mean, you know, if gravity's not real and it's some invisible force, well, how do you know that electricity is real? Because you can't see it. You can feel it, but you can feel gravity also. Well, no, you can't smell electricity. You can smell the metal that heats up because of it, and if there's an electrical arc, you know, you can smell the metal that the arc causes to vaporize, or sublimate actually is the correct term. It goes directly from a solid to a gaseous state. It very quickly re-solidifies back into a solid in atomic form. But what is electricity? You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. Smudge! But you can certainly see the evidence of it when you go and turn your lamp on that has a bulb in it, or you cut your fan on, or you open your refrigerator and the light comes on and the refrigerator is cold inside, or you know, you cut your faucet on, and so your water pump comes on and keeps it going. You go out and you start your car. Well, all those things are electricity. Can you see it? No, you can't. So it must be a magical force also. Really, if you have any answers, by all means, let me know. I'd love to hear it. For all of those who know and understand what I'm talking about and know that we live on a sphere and that there's nothing magical about it, that all of these natural forces make perfect sense, you know, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, gravity, and the electromagnetic force, I think, are the four primary forces. By all means, like and subscribe. You know, I believe what the Bible says is true, but I also know that the Bible uses different literary devices. It uses analogies, it uses acronyms, it uses synecdoche. Yeah, that was a hard word for me to learn also. I'll leave that one down in the description under the video, along with my other standard flat earth debunking links that link to other videos on YouTube by other people. But by all means, like, subscribe, share, comment, be respectful. I will delete ugly comments. Atheists, you're welcome to like and subscribe. I'm not trying to force the Bible on anyone, but the Bible does not say that the earth is flat. It doesn't specifically say that it's spherically shaped either. At best, the scriptures are ambiguous, at least in the English. Now, in the Paleo-Hebrew, they may be very specific. But even there, they're not going to say that the earth is flat, because we have plenty of observable evidence that tells us otherwise. Without taking a space shuttle into space, or a Saturn V rocket, or any of the other Apollo missions, or the International Space Station, which you can go look at the live feed of it anytime you want to. And there's no way that they could fake the gravity or the lack of gravity. There's not actually a lack of gravity, it's just that they're in a constant state of free fall. But because of the forward motion, they always miss. You flat earthers, you won't understand that. But anyway, I hope to see all of you in the kingdom of heaven. Yahweh bless. Smudgy Pudgy, what you doing, darling? Let's have a look, see at Smudge right quick. Someone asked me about it in one of my other videos. She's been eating on leaves. See that leaf hanging out of her mouth? You're a good girl. Lay down. Lay down. She don't want to lay on the ground. Lay down, sweetie. Alright, I'll get a video of that another time. Y'all have a good evening. Like, subscribe, share. And by all means, flat earthers, please explain magnetism, electromagnetism, electricity, the nuclear forces that are employed in nuclear reactors, because without those nuclear forces, we couldn't have nuclear power plants. We couldn't have coal-fired power plants. As a matter of fact, without those nuclear forces, we could not have anything, because those nuclear forces are involved in holding atoms together. So we wouldn't even exist. So explain those things. Anyway, again, Yahweh bless.